Welcome to Skyhook Sessions, where we talk nothing but net. I'm your host, Delroy Davidson, and in today's episode, we are going to be touching on the NBA playoffs, the conference semis, the Western and Eastern Conference finals, and the NBA finals. So we're going to start off with the conference semis in the East, the Indiana Pacers against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Indiana Pacers had a 22-point fourth quarter comeback in Game 1 in that series to take a 1-0 series lead against the Cleveland Cavaliers. In Game 2, What the Helly, aka Tyrese Halliburton, drilled a last-second three-pointer to take that win against the Cleveland Cavaliers on the road. They were up 2-0 in that series. We shift over to Indianapolis, and the Cleveland Cavaliers strike back. Donovan Mitchell erupted for 43 points, while Halliburton was held to single digits because of the aggressive traps that the Cleveland Cavs had on him. Cleveland won that game. Indiana still lead the series 2-1. Game 4, the Pacers ran for cover. Like they came out gun blazing. Like they were up early by 41 points at the half. 41 points against the number 1 seed team in the Eastern Conference, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They were up by 41 at half on these guys. Okay? Cleveland was stunned, never recovered. That was all that game wrote. Once again, Indiana's up 3-1. Now we're going back to Cleveland, Ohio. And you guys surely know how that went down. Game 5, Donovan Mitchell got injured. We all know that. In the second half, after carrying most of the offense throughout the night, right? Indiana smelled blood. And they just took over the game and they won that series in 5 games. Tyrese Halliburton averaged 17 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, while Donovan Mitchell averaged 34 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game. In the other semifinals matchup, we had the Boston Celtics against the New York Knicks. Game 1, in the Garden, in the Boston Garden, okay? The Knicks erased a 20-point lead to win in overtime behind Mikal Bridges' clutch steal and late game response on Jason Tatum, who was trapped in the corner. And the Knicks won that game. And then the following day, go New York, go New York, go. New York was on a roll. New York was doing their things. I got to shout out the New York fans because you guys are loyal fans, so I'm going to give you guys that. You guys go hard for your squad, and I respect that. Game 2, same script was repeated in Boston, okay? The Knicks went in there, late rally again, and Mikal Bridges makes another great momentum shifting play to give the Knicks a 2-0 lead. Now we're going to MSG. You know it's going to be rocking. You know the stars are out, the celebrities are courtside, Spike Lee, and all these guys, the New York Tribe, Allen Houston, the Ewans, everybody, we're outside. All mans are outside, right? Everybody's outside. Game 3's rocking. The Garden's going crazy. No. The defending champions shut down the Garden early. And when I say early, I mean early. They caught fire quick. Okay? They were hitting 50% from beyond the arc. The 3-point arc. 50%. Okay, we know that they live and die by the threes. But my God, in the Garden in Game 3, boy, did they ever show up. And they put a spanking on the Knicks and showed the Knicks why they were the defending champions. Right? Big energy, ball movement, like the Celtics play like they were the defending champions. They won Game 3 easy. 2-1 New York heading into Game 4. Game 4, Tatum dropped 42 points. Had a magnificent game, but him and Brunson, they were trading buckets late in the game. But we all know the devastating news about Tatum. He injured his Achilles with 3 minutes left, and that took all that energy out of Boston. And the momentum shifted to the Knicks, and the Knicks ended up winning Game 4. So it was 3-1 going back to Boston, right? Jalen, the Boston Celtics players, they did a post game that night. I remember they were saying, like, game 5 is a must win. We got to do this for our brother. You know what I mean? Like, they were like saying, yo, Team Tatum, like, we got to do this for Tatum. Game 5, what happened? They wrecked for Tatum. Okay? Mr. Derek White explodes for 34 points, 7 threes. Okay? So, he went ham. Right? And then Mr. Luke Cornett comes off the bench, steps up with defense and hustle. 10 points, 9 rebounds, 7 blocks. 7 blocks. I'm going to have to research to see which other player has come off the bench in the playoffs with 7 blocks. I don't think there's a big list. But Luke Cornett had to play those big minutes because Mr. Injury-prone player, Mr. KP, Mr. Kristaps Porzingis, was not available. So, thank God, LK was there to save the day for Game 5. Boston won that game, 3-2. Back to the New York we go. Maybe New York is on a closeout. Game 6. Knicks overwhelmed the Celtics. 4 players on the Knicks scored 20 points. And Josh Hart recorded a triple-double. And the crowd was electric. New York won that game and made their way back to the Eastern Conference Finals since 2000. Right? To face the Indiana Pacers. And that's where we are now. We're going to jump into the Eastern Conference Finals now. What a series that was, right? Even though it went to 6 games for Indiana, it was a great series. Game 1, we can't forget that legendary comeback from the Pacers. Neesmith had 30 points. He was 8 for 9 from 3-point range in that game. Halliburton had a 31-11 game, while Brunson poured in 43 points, and Karl Anthony Towns added 35 points and 12 rebounds, but it was not enough. Halliburton tied the game at the buzzer, and he recreated the Reggie Miller shot at the time because he thought he won the game, but the game went to overtime because he was on the line. But nevertheless, he created that shot that, Reggie's famous for. Tied the game, and then Indiana took over in overtime, and they ended up taking that game. Game 2, Siakam dropped his career best, 39 points, 15 of 23 from the field, while Halliburton added 14 points and 11 assists to go along with 8 rebounds, right? And he was a complete fourth general in that game. Jalen Brunson led the way for the Knicks with 36 points and 11 assists, while Mikal Bridges and Towns contributed 20 points each. The Pacers took the charge in the fourth quarter and continued to execute defensively and maintaining the lead all the way to the end of the game. So that had Indiana up 2-0 on the Knicks. Series shifts to Indianapolis, where Knicks flipped the script on them now. So now we're in your gym now, and you guys came to the MSG and took us out in 2 games? Okay, we got you. You guys beat us in that gym? Okay, we're coming to Indianapolis. We're coming there. They went in there, and they did what they did. Karl Anthony had a dominant performance. He dropped 24 points and had 15 rebounds. 20 of those points came in the fourth quarter. A power stunning comeback from the Knicks. Jalen Brunson finished with 23 points, but he was in foul trouble for most of the game, but he maintained to manage it and stay in the game for the ending of the game to help the team. Tyrese Halliburton had 20 points, 6 assists, while Miles Turner, first time talking about him in this series, had 19 points. Knicks took game 3 though with a gritty win performance, and also Mr. Clutch himself, Jalen Brunson, going ham. Big road win in Indiana. Game 4, Halliburton had a flawless triple-double, 32, 15, and 12 with 0 turnovers. Kudos to him. As the Pacers stormed up with a 43-point first quarter. 43 points in the first quarter. Okay? Pascal Siakam poured in 30 points, while Obi Toppin knocked down a clutch 3-pointer in the closing minutes to steal the game. Jalen Brunson kept the Knicks competitive with 31 points. Karl Anthony Towns added 24 points to go along with 12 rebounds, while OG chipped in 22. But Indiana still edged them out and won that game in Game 4. Going back to MSG now, it's 3-1 in the Garden, right? Game 5. Game 5, everybody was like, oh, it's over. The script is over. Boston's probably going to go in there. But managers are saying, nah. This is the Garden. The Garden is going to be electric. There's no way the Knicks are gonna go into Game 5. They gotta have some pride. There's no way they're gonna go down 4-1, right? They gotta have some type of pride. Boom, Game 5, crowd electric. Brunson finished it with 32 points. Karl Anthony Towns contributed 24-13 while battling through a bruised knee, right? Halliburton was held to just 8 points, but Bennett Mathurin and fellow Canadian emerged as the Pacers' bright spot and did his thing, scoring 23 points off the bench, right? Despite shooting a low percentage from the field, Indiana stayed competitive throughout, but New York won that game and forced a Game 6. Game 6, Siakam scored 31 points, while Tyrese finished with 21 points and 13 assists, delivered 11 of his points in the fourth quarter. Obi Toppin continues to do his thing, 18.6 rebounds to help close out the win against his former team, the Knicks. OG Anunoby led the Knicks with 24 points. Karl Anthony Towns added 22, 14 rebounds, but Jalen finished with 19. However, the Knicks did not hold on, and the Indiana Pacers went to the NBA Finals. Siakam was the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and that was all they wrote. Now we're going to go to the semifinals in the Western Conference, and we're going to first talk about Minnesota Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors. As you guys know, Minnesota won that series 4-1. I picked Minnesota to win that series as well. Game 1, no Curry, no problem, right? Buddy Hield finished with 24 points, 5 of 8 shooting from 3, and Jimmy Butler added 20. Right? Warriors still home opener on the road. The Wolves in Game 2, the Wolves surged back around Randall's all-around game. He had 24 points, 11 assists, and his defense was clamping down on those Warriors. And Minnesota won that game, and the series was tied 1-1. Now we're going to GSW, right? Game 3, Warriors led late, but Edwards with 36 points. Julius Randle, who finished with a triple-double, took over in the clutch. Jimmy Butler scored 33 to keep Golden State close, while Kuminga exploded for 30 points off the bench in a breakup performance, but it wasn't enough. And Minnesota won Game 3. Game 4, same thing. Wolves dominated from start to finish, right? Dominated the whole game. Edwards got 30 points, 54% from three-point range, okay? And Randall had 31%, and he shot 52% from the field. Go to Game 5, Golden State ran out of gas. Wolves physically wore them out. Keep in mind that there was no Curry because they got injured from Game 2, I think it was. But he was not there, so they really had no chance. And they won. And they advanced to the Western Conference Finals to face the winner between Denver and OKC, which we're going to jump right into right now. So, as you guys know, obviously we know that OKC won that series in 7 games. But I'll give you guys a quick rundown of that series. So you guys know Denver is my squad at the end of the day. No bias thing, whatever, but I'm a real one. And I'm going to let you guys know Denver is my squad. I rep my city, Toronto, but Denver is my squad. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But we're just going to keep it 100 and just go down the line from each game and just let you guys know what's popping. So Game 1, you know, they just came off a 7-game series against the Clippers, jumping into a new series while OKC had a week off. Denver goes into OKC, takes Game 1. Joker, monster game. 42-22, 42-22, right? Aaron Gordon, dagger three-pointer to seal it. Jamal Murray, 21, doing his thing. Russell Westbrook made his return to OKC in the playoffs, first time ever facing his former team, the Oklahoma City Thunder / Seattle Supersonics. That's where he started his career in the early 2010s, for those that don't know. Game 2, Thunder answered. You already know Denver won Game 1 with Aaron Gordon's dagger 3. Game 2, Thunder responded and just basically just ran Denver out of the gym. They dominated that game. They set a playoff record, 45 points in the first quarter, ended up to 87 points at the half. Shai Gilgeous finished with 34 points, 11 of 13 shooting from the field, and a perfect 11 of 11 from the free throw line. My God, they won that game. Game 3, we switched over to Denver, Colorado. Denver survived the OT battle, and they won that game. Jamal Murray scored 27 points, while Porter Jr. finished with 21, and AG, Aaron Gordon, added 22. The Nuggets went on a decisive 11-2 run in overtime to secure the win, showing their experience and why they are champions. Right? Game 4, Thunder grew up. In Game 4, they won. They went on an 11-0 fourth quarter run. Shea had 25 points, including 9 in the final minutes to steal the game. Okay? So SGA doing SGA things. Okay? They won Game 4. Game 5 was a balanced effort by OKC. 6 players scored in double figures, which overtook Joker's brilliant 44-15 performance, right? Jamal Murray added 28, but it just wasn't enough as SGA scored 31 and clutch 3-pointers from Lou Dort made these guys win Game 5. Game 6, Nuggets rallied behind their role players. Christian Braun had 23 points. Julian Strawder had 15. Nikola Jokic had 29, 14, and 8. Jamal Murray, he was suffering an illness at the time. He was sick, and he played through that, and he dropped 25 points to help Denver Nuggets force in Game 7. Game 7, Shea dropped 35. Jalen dropped 24. They carried OKC to win that game. Nikola Jokic finished with 20 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, but Denver shot poorly all night, and they did not recover in that game. Shakers advanced to the Western Conference Finals to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now we're in OKC. OKC has home court. Game 1, OKC slapped. When I say slap, I mean slap. Slapped Ant-Man and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, Ant-Man only had 18 points in Game 1. Okay, SGA finished with 31 points, including 20 in the second half to spark a dominant surge. Okay, they won that game easy. In Game 2, Shea comes back, flexes his MVP form, 38 points, 13 of 15 from the free throw line. Jalen Williams gave you 26 and 10, right? And Lou Dort, another great performance with some smothering defense pressure on those Wolves, who they're the one that like to do smothering defense. And you guys know last year they did that to my Denver squad, you know, it's the one that's serving it, but that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation. Game 2, as I said, they did their thing. Minnesota couldn't be in rhythm. Anthony Edwards had 32 points in that game, but it just wasn't enough, and they won Game 2. Game 3 shifts to Minnesota, and Wolves just tore OKC apart. That wasn't even a game. That was just a blow. That was like 50, 60 points. I think I'm capping on the 50, 60, but you guys get my drift. It was that bad. There was a point where they were leading 40 at a point. I remember they went up at least like 40, 45 at a point in that game. Sad. Very sad. But here and there, Edwards had 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists, and they won that game. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander had an off night with 14 points and 4 turnovers, right? So that's how she wrote. Game 4, the MVP responds, of course, drops 40 points to go along with 10 rebounds and 9 assists, right? Including 2 clutch free throws in the final seconds to give OKC the lead. Jay Williams, once again, does his thing, 34 points. Chet Holmgren added 21, right? Lou Dort and Jalen doing what they do, defensive pressure, right? Edwards only had 16 points, so you already know the defense was crazy on him. The Ant-Man, you know, he likes to talk his shit and do his thing and all of that. Like, he had nothing to say. He had nothing to say in Game 4, right? They won that. Game 5, Thunder said, okay, we're not playing games with you guys no more. We're sending you guys home. And that's exactly what they did. They sent the Minnesota Timberwolves home in Game 5, okay? Shea scored 34 again, right? Chet, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 3 blocks. Jalen Williams, 19 points, 6 rebounds. Wolves struggling, can't do nothing, can't do anything. They committed 21 turnovers. 21 turnovers. We're going to get to that 21 turnover, because I think there's another team that did 20, but we'll get there. But yeah, just overall though, they lost. OKC went to the finals. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was your Western Conference Finals MVP for that series. Now we get to the finals, where the Indiana Pacers were taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder, with OKC having home court in that series. If you remember Game 1, What the Helly had a wonderful performance. You know what I'm saying? Delivered another clutch masterpiece. right? He drove a 21-foot jumper with 0.3 seconds left in that game to give Indiana its only lead of the night, and they won game 1. Even though the Pacers committed 25 turnovers and trailed by 15 in the fourth against the NBA's best team, they still found a way to win that game, which is why they were called the comeback kings all season long. Game 2, the Thunder slapped them 123-107. Familiar pattern, what they do, you know what I mean? They'll always lose a game. When they're losing game 1 in their gym and then they snap in game 2. Did that to Denver. A fun fact for you guys, after a loss, the Thunder are 18-2 this season. After defeat, they bounce back quick. So, which clearly leads into what I'm going to say to you guys right now. He led the way with 34 points, becoming the top scorer of the entire playoffs and surpassing 3,000 total points on the season. Alex Caruso did his thing, had 20 points off the bench in that game. Indiana never was really a threat to OKC in game 2, trailing after a 19-2 OKC run in the second quarter that opened up a 23-point lead. So OKC was never threatened. Even though Indiana is a comeback kings, they were never threatened in game 2. Haliburton finished with 17 points. Miles Turner scored 16. Siakam added 15. Right? Next fun fact, Indiana become the first team since the 2013 Miami Heat not to have a 20-point scorer in either of the first 2 final games. Wow, that's crazy. OKC won that game. Game 3, Pacers went into Indiana. Well, obviously that's their gym, but they went back home and they did their thing. Comeback kings, right? They bounced back, improving to 10-0 since mid-March in games following a loss. Mathurin scored a career playoff high, 27 points off the bench, leading Indiana's 49-18 in the bench scoring advantage. Right? Tyrese Haliburton flirted with a triple-double, 22 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. Right? Pascal Siakam added 21 points. TJ McCollum chipped in 10 points, 5 assists, and 5 steals. The first bench player in finals history to post that stat line. Kudos to TJ. He's a pest on the court, though. Game 4, Thunder won that game. Once again, bouncing back from Game 3's loss. They won that game. Facing a potential 3-1 hold. The MVP did his thing, snap, and they won that game. SGA scored 15 of his 35 points in the final 4:38 minutes of that game, closing the game on his own as the Thunder erased a 10-point second half defeat. They ended the game on a 67 run with SGA scoring all but one of those points. They ended up winning Game 4. Game 5, Thunder won that game. But that game, Indiana, I think, blew that game because they had a chance to win that game. Game 5 is like a mirror of Game 1, as I said, right? Remember, they won Game 1. Thunder built a huge lead at home, right? The Pacers won a fourth quarter comeback. But this time, the Oklahoma City Thunder held firm. Right? Jalen Williams delivered a career playoff high with 40 points. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander added another 31-point game to go along with 10 assists. It marks the 10th time this season that the duo has combined for 70-plus points and easily the most impactful. OKC now holds a 3-2 series lead against the Indiana Pacers, with Game 6 being tonight. It's going to be very interesting because, as we know, Tyrese Haliburton is not 100% right now, but I doubt that he's going to miss this game because it's the NBA Finals. It's not a regular season game. So I'm expecting him to play tonight. As it comes to who's going to win Game 6, I really do believe that Indiana is going to win Game 6 because they're home. The players play better role players play better at home. And I feel like Indiana is going to play desperate to try at least bring it back to a Game 7. So I'm picking Indiana to win Game 6. That is my pick. Some little stats for you guys, though. Some history about playoffs. How OKC won Game 5. So most of the times, they've gone on to win the series 74% of the time. So we'll see if that holds firm, if OKC could pull off the win tonight, or it's going to be a Game 7. Thank you guys for watching today's episode. I appreciate the love and the support. Tell a friend to like and subscribe. Now we are all caught up, guys. We are caught up on Skyhook sessions. I know, the last time you guys seen me and the episode was in the first round. But I'm here. I'm here for you guys. We're caught up now. I want to hear your feedback. I want you guys to send me questions or anything about the game today. Like, let me know. Like, what do you guys want to see? What do you guys expect? Any bold predictions? All of that. Just send it in. Send it in, guys. Send me your thoughts, comments below. Tell a friend to subscribe at Skyhook Sessions. Don't forget to also follow it on Instagram at Skyhook Sessions. Let's lock in for the summer in Cancun. Keep that energy up high and keep that eye in the sky. Cause we all be back soon. It's your boy Delroy signing off from another episode of Skyhook Session. Peace!